the root. So in the root you can see the above downwards arrangement, especially on right side we will see the above downwards arrangement. So first you will have the epiarterial bronchus, and next we will have the pulmonary artery, and after pulmonary artery you will have the hyperarterial bronchus, and after hyperarterial bronchus there is inferior pulmonary vein. So this is the inferior pulmonary vein. So this is the order on right side, that is from above downwards, and the order on above downwards on left side is first we will have the pulmonary artery, and after that we will have the bronchus, and after bronchus next to it we will have inferior pulmonary vein. So this is the order of arrangements above downward in the root of especially left lung. Now we will move on to the roof relations. So here you can see these are the roof relations to this root. So mainly anteriorly, actually on common, it's common on two sides, either on left side or left side, right side. That is the phrenic nerve will be anteriorly, and also pericardiophrenic vessels, and also anterior pulmonary plexus. These are all the common structures which are present on anterior side. Whereas coming to the right side, so in the diagram you can see this is the root of the lung and this is the right side. On the right side you can see mainly the superior vena cava, and also you will see the terminal part of azygous vein. Whereas on the left side to the root of the lung you will see the arch of aorta, and inferiorly you will see the pulmonary ligament. So this is a pulmonary ligament. So here you can see pulmonary ligament inferiorly. So these are the relations of a root of a lung. Now we will see what is the arterial supply. So before moving on to the arterial supply, first we need to check out what are the differences between the right lung and left lung. So we already know, once again let us revise. So right lung mainly have two fissures, that is the oblique and horizontal fissure, and they are separating the lung into the three lobes, whereas the left lung have only one fissure, that is the oblique fissure, and it divides the lung into two lobes. And the anterior border is straight in the case of right lung, whereas the anterior border is interrupted by means of cardiac notch in the left lung. And you know, right lung is larger, heavier, and about like 700 grams, whereas left lung is smaller, lighter, and it is only 600 grams. And the right lung is shorter and broader, whereas the left lung is longer and narrower. As it is shorter and broader and also in direct connection with the bronchial tree, most of the inspired materials directly enter into the right lung, and infective particles also enter more into the right lung when compared with the left lung. Now we will check out the arterial supply. So mainly this root of the lung, or either the lung, is supplied mainly by bronchial arteries which supply the nutrient to the bronchial tree, and also of course to the pulmonary tissue. So on right side we have only one bronchial artery which is arising from three posterior intercostal arteries from the upper left bronchial artery. So we'll see in this diagram. So you can see here we have one bronchial artery, only you have the one bronchial artery in the case of our right side of the lung. Only one bronchial artery is supplying it, and that too it is coming from the three posterior intercostal artery from the upper left bronchial artery. And the left side you can see you have the two bronchial arteries, and that two bronchial arteries are mainly arising from descending thoracic aorta, and also from the it is upper opposite to fifth thoracic vertebra and lower below left bronchus. It's lower below the left bronchus and it's upper opposite fifth thoracic vertebra. So it is lying opposite to the fifth thoracic vertebra. So that is the thing which is the difference between the right side and left side. Remember, only right side you have one bronchial artery, on left side you will have the two bronchial artery. And next coming to, there are also some, you can see here, there are some precapillary anastomosis between the bronchial and pulmonary arteries. So bronchial and pulmonary arteries are having anastomosis, and these connections may enlarge when anything is obstructed in disease. So especially in a disease condition, because of obstruction, these vessels may enlarge. Now let us see the venous drainage. By 1.5 divisions of bronchi are mainly carried by bronchial veins. So we have right bronchial vein which is mainly draining to azygous vein, because azygous means it is mainly on right side. So right bronchial vein drain into azygous vein, and left bronchial vein drain into hemiazygous vein, of course because hemiazygous vein is on the left side. And the greater part of the venous blood from the lungs is drained by pulmonary veins. Of course the major vein is pulmonary vein, but of course the small branches of bronchial veins which are coming on right side are going to azygous vein, on left side they are going to hemiazygous vein, and the remaining main blood venous blood flow is drained by pulmonary veins. Now let us see the lymphatic drainage. So lymphatic drainage is mainly draining into the bronchopulmonary nodes. So there are superficial vessels which drain the peripheral lung beneath the visceral pleura, and the vessels pass around the borders of lung and margins of tissues to reach the hilum. So they reach the hilum, and from there the lymph drainage will go directly into the bronchopulmonary nodes. And there are also some deep lymphatics which drain the bronchial tree, pulmonary vessel, connective tissue septa, and run towards the hilum and chain into bronchopulmonary nodes. So like this, the deep lymphatics will also drain into the bronchopulmonary nodes. And superficial vessels increase the valves. Like superficial vessels have more valves, but deep vessels have few valves, or also sometimes they may not have valves. So lymph can flow from superficial vessels to deep vessels. When deep vessels are obstructed in a disease of lungs or lymph nodes. So actually, whenever the deep vessels are obstructed, there is a connection between the superficial vessels to the deep vessels of lymph node. Now let us see what is the nerve supply. Mainly the parasympathetic nerves are derived from the vagus, and these fibers are motor to the bronchial muscles, and mainly by stimulation they cause a bronchospasm. So secretomotor to mucous gland of bronchial tree, and sensory fibers are responsible to stretch reflex of lungs and also for the cuff reflex. So we have also sympathetic nerve, which is derived from 2 to 5 spinal segments. So mainly if you see, the nerve supply is parasympathetic and sympathetic, that is autonomic division. So sympathetic is derived from 2 to 5 spinal segments, and these are inhibitory to the smooth muscles and gland of bronchial tree. That is how mainly sympathomimetic drugs like adrenaline cause bronchodilation, and they relieve the symptoms of asthma. So you can see sympathetic nerve sympathetic nerves are mainly inhibitory, whereas the parasympathetic are excitatory or stimulatory to the bronchospasm. Now let us see both the PNS and SNS nerves first coming from anterior and posterior pulmonary plexus, which are situated in front and behind the lung roots. Yeah. So if you see here, this anterior pulmonary plexus, posterior pulmonary plexus in the lung root, actually this is the origin for the sympathetic and parasympathetic nerves which are supplying the lung. So from the plexus, the nerve are distributed to the lungs along the blood vessels and also bronchi. Now we will check out the bronchial tree. So if you check out this diagram, this is a bronchial tree. This can also be called as bronchial tree. So mainly the bronchial tree is a trachea which divide at the level of lower border. This is a trachea which divide at the level of lower border of 4 thoracic vertebra into 2 primary principal bronchi. So first trachea divide into 2 principal primary bronchi, and from there the right principal bronchus is shorter and more wider in line with trachea. So inhaled particles enter more into the right lung. And the left principal bronchus is longer, narrower and more oblique, and makes 45 degrees angle with the trachea. So this diagram mainly helps to know about the bronchial tree. So first the trachea divides at the level of T4 into principal bronchus, 2 principal bronchus. One is the right principal bronchus and other one is the left principal bronchus. The right principal bronchus is in direct connection with the lung, so that most of the inhaled particles are easily entering into it. And the principal bronchus enters the lung by hilum and divide into secondary lobar bronchi. And you can see here, these are the secondary lobar bronchi, and the secondary lobar bronchi they divide into 3 lobar bronchi on right side, whereas 2 lobar bronchi on left side. So totally 3 lobar bronchi are on the right side, whereas only 2 lobar bronchi on left side. So you can see here only 2 lobar bronchi, but here there are 3 lobar bronchi on right side. And the lobar bronchi divide into the tertiary segment or bronchi, one for each bronchopulmonary segment, which are 10 on right side and 10 on left side. So from there the lobar bronchi further divide into tertiary segment. If you see like this, the bronchopulmonary segments are formed from the tertiary lobar bronchi. So you can see tertiary segmental bronchi, one for each bronchopulmonary segment, which are 10 on right side and 10 on left side. So the segmental bronchi divide to small branches or terminal bronchioles, and this terminal bronchioles also further divide into still smaller respiratory bronchioles which aerate the pulmonary unit. So you can see the tertiary bronchi or segmental bronchi are later divided into terminal bronchioles, and these terminal bronchioles are dividing into the respiratory bronchioles and later into small, very small structures which are aerated mainly by pulmonary unit. So you can see this is called as atria. These are the air sacules, and of course this is the alveoli. So you can see the respiratory bronchiole. The respiratory bronchiole mainly ends in microscopic alveolar ducts, atria, air sacules, pulmonary alveoli, where actually the gaseous exchange takes place. Next, you can see the bronchopulmonary segments. There are 10 on right and 10 on left. So they are actually the anatomical, functional and surgical sectors of the lung, and they are mainly aerated by tertiary or segmental bronchus, and it's pyramidal, and the apex is towards the root, and each segment have segmental bronchus, segmental artery. So they have I will show you. See, actually the each segment will have its own segmental artery, segmental bronchiole and also bronchial artery, whereas the vein is only intersegmental, that is between two segments you will find out the one vein. So intersegmental planes with segmental venule, and they also have their own lymph nodes and also autonomic nerves and intersegmental veins between two segments. So now we will check out the bronchopulmonary segments by means of this diagram. So you can see this is the right side and left side. This is the left side and right side of the lung. The bronchopulmonary segments as seen on the costal aspects. So these are the costal aspects, and these are the segments seen on medial surface. So actually this is the costal side of the bronchopulmonary segments, and this is the medial side of the bronchopulmonary segments. So let us find out what is the difference between the costal side and medial side of the bronchopulmonary segments. So here you can see this is the bronchopulmonary segments of right lung and left lung. So on right lung, mainly on the upper side you will have the apical. This is the apical, and the second one, this is the posterior, and third one is anterior. So apical, posterior, anterior, and on the middle you will have the lateral and medial. So lateral is the fourth one and medial is the fifth one, and on the lower side you will have the superior is the sixth one, and seventh one cannot be seen here, that is the anterior basal, it will be the back side, and eighth one is the medial basal, ninth one is the lateral basal, and the 10th one is the posterior basal. So let us find out a trick to remember them. So of course, if this without knowing, we can say it's apical, and here the second one, it's a posterior, of course this will say anterior. So this one is common, apical, posterior, anterior, we can say this. In the middle also you can say this lateral, this is medial, very easy. So in the lower lobe only you have this one as superior, anterior basal. So all basal is a common word here. Anterior basal, medial basal, lateral basal, and the posterior basal. So superior, anterior basal is not here, and this is the medial basal, this is the lateral basal, this is the posterior basal. So basal is a common word, like that you can remember. So this is about the right lung, mainly seen on the costal side. So now we will see about the left lung. So left lung, upper side you'll have the upper division and the lower division. Of course we will see according to it. So mainly, of course, the same name, apical, posterior, anterior. Here you'll have a superior lingular, because lingular is present on left side. So here the superior lingular, inferior lingular, and again coming to the lower lobe you'll have the superior, the same anterior basal is not here, yes, medial basal, lateral basal, posterior basal. So same like a right lung, the only difference is you will see here the lingular structures in the case of lower division, superior lingular and inferior lingular. So this is about the costal surface. So why we are looking at this medial surface, especially to find out this anterior basal. So all others are same. So this is seventh one, you can see this is the anterior basal, which is seen on the medial side. So all others are the same, like again one for apical, two for posterior. So the same, everything is same, only the seventh one is added here, that is a anterior basal. So that is seen mainly on the medial side. So this is about the bronchopulmonary segments. Now we will see the relation. So during segmental resection, sometimes surgeons do the segmental resection. The surgeon works along mainly the segmental vein, this intersegmental veins, to isolate the particular segment. So that is important point. And in relation to pulmonary artery, so you can see here the branch of pulmonary artery accompany the bronchi. So one pulmonary artery will accompany the bronchi. So as here pulmonary artery with one bronchi, and artery lies dorsolateral to bronchus, and each segment has its own separate artery. as we see. So relation to pulmonary vein don't accompany the bronchi or pulmonary artery. Vein in intersegmental planes, so each segment has more than one vein and each vein drains more than one segment. So as you can see, the vein is between the segments, so each vein has a capacity to drain more than one lobe, and even one lobe may have more than one vein. So next we will see, near hilum veins are ventromedial to bronchus, and the bronchopulmonary segment is not a bronchovascular segment because it doesn't have its own vein. Veins are more variable than arteries, and arteries are more variable than bronchi. So next we will see the clinical anatomy, that is the inferior of bronchopulmonary segments remains restricted, but in the case of tuberculosis or bronchogenic carcinoma it may spread from one segment to another. Actually in the case of inferior side of bronchopulmonary segment it has remained constricted, means there is no any disease, but especially in case of TB or in the carcinoma always infection may have a chance to spread from one segment to other. Next, segmental resection we already discussed. It is mainly visualize the interior of bronchi by passing an instrument that is nothing but called as bronchoscope. So if we send a bronchoscope, we can find out what are the structures inside. And carina is a trachea where it divides into two primary bronchi. So trachea where it is dividing at the point as we discussed, it's in the fourth intercostal space. So where it is dividing into two bronchi, primary bronchi, that is right bronchus and left bronchus. So at that time the area of division that is called as carina, and this right bronchus makes 25 degrees whereas left bronchus makes 45 degrees angle with the trachea, and the carina is a most sensitive area. So secretions from the right bronchial tree flow towards the carina due to gravity. From the right bronchial tree they flow into the carina due to gravity and stimulates a cuff reflex, and sputum is brought out, and this is called as postural drainage. So it's a cuff reflex due to gravity it comes, and because of this only there is cuff reflex, so this is called as postural drainage. So you can see a diagram of segmental resection. One of the segment is cut off, and here you can see the angles of right and left bronchi with carina. As we said, the right bronchus forms 25 degrees with trachea and left bronchus forms 45 degrees with the trachea. And this is the postural drainage from the right lung where the cuff reflex is getting started. And next we have the paradoxical respiration, that is mainly during inspiration the rib is pulled inside the chest wall. So it's like anomaly, because during inspiration the rib should not be completely pulled inside the chest wall, and while expiration the ribs are pushed out. So this is a clinical condition. You can see paradoxical respiration, that is paradoxical means it's not a proper respiration. So this is a final flail segment, and this is during inspiration. You can see the ribs are pulled inside, and during expiration we are seeing that the ribs are pushed out. So if there is any TB of the lung is the most common disease, and the complete treatment must be taken under the guidance of a physician. So the most common disease in the lung is tuberculosis. So this is all about the pulmonary lungs. This is about the lungs anatomy. Next we'll move on to the mediastinum.